In this video, I'm going to share with you my exact system to get the highest grades possible in university. It's very simple. It's not super glamorous. It's not very exciting because it's just going to require you to do the same thing every single day. But if you can do this, I guarantee that you will get the highest grades possible with the least amount of time wasted. And you're going to have time to do all the other fun stuff in university, going out with friends, exercising, eating new foods, just having new experiences in general. So, what we want to do when we're going to university is that we want to get the highest grade possible. And the reason we're doing that is because we're spending a lot of money being there. You're spending a lot of money to go do something well, to build a work ethic, to build the discipline that it requires you to get your goals, not only in university, but beyond. Once you're done university, you're going to go to work. You're going to work a job hard, hopefully, because you enjoy it and because, now I'm not going to get into work culture, but because you enjoy it, because you want to succeed, you want to work hard because you are capable of that. And you don't want to just settle for mediocrity. You do not want to do this. You want to work a job and do a good job at it. Okay. So what do? University is going to become your 9 to 5. All right. This is your job. Monday to Friday, 9 to 5. You're going to be in class. You're going to be at the library. You're going to be looking over your notes. You're going to be reading for the next day's notes. You're going to be doing assignments, projects, whatever. Okay. 9 to 5. It sounds like a lot, 40 hours a week, but that's just normal. And honestly, if you're working 40 hours a week, that's very little time in the grand scheme of things. That leaves you a couple days to party, a couple days to go out and exercise. There's a lot of time in the days. And so if you can just get the system down from the get-go and get like that 4.0 GPA that you need to move along. Maybe you want to apply for medical school or you want to just get a higher paying job because some places look at grades. Like if you're in law school, that's how it is. Okay. So if you want this, if you really, I hope this was working well anyways the entire time. If you really want this, this is how you're going to do it. And depending on what you're doing, if you got to learn via memorization or you're in like physics or math or something like that, and you got to just understand how to apply formulas and apply the laws of physics, then you are going to you're going to do this for everything. So how you start is you go to class. All right. First thing you do, go to class and you're going to use this one app that I'm going to recommend you. And that's RemNote. RemNote is the best app because it takes your notes and you can format it in a way so that it creates flashcards for you. So you take notes, you're in class, your lecturer's giving the lecture, you're writing down the notes. And after you're done writing all the notes, the point is to go in there, ask questions when they come up, if they come up in your head, and then also to just take it in. Take in as many senses as you can, hearing what the prof is saying, reading it, typing it out. You're just adding more senses to it. So you have your notes. Once you're finished with those notes, I didn't want that to fall off the table. Once you're finished taking your notes, you are going to format them in between your classes to make flashcards. And this is super simple on this app. And it just requires you just putting a colon in between the two spots that you want flashcards in. Once you make those flashcards, you go on to the next class, carry on with your day. If it's not a memorization class and it's like a math or a physics kind of class, then you need to do practice questions. So you go to class, you write your notes, you learn exactly what to do. And then the textbooks usually often have, in your homework is usually doing questions. And so that's good. You have those assignments where you have to answer those questions. But with everything out nowadays, you have AI, you have Wolfram Alpha, you have these kind of things. They can help you and show you what you did and didn't do wrong. And that greatly benefits you to do well and to understand your mistakes. None of this is going to be easy. None of this is just like, I can just use AI, use my freaking Meta glasses to answer the questions when I'm doing my final exam. No, it's like you actually have to understand this stuff. And to do this, you have to do these things daily. So you have your flashcards. The next day you wake up, you're going to do your flashcards while you're drinking your coffee. And the way RemNote works is that it does spaced repetition. So if you know something really well, it pushes that off to another day farther in the future. If you don't know it really well, you're going to repeat it more often. And you have to classify it depending on how you do the flashcards. So using RemNote every single morning with your coffee or however, just start your day with this because it takes, like at the beginning of this semester, it's going to take 5 to 10 minutes to do it. And then it's going to get progressively longer. And by the end of the semester, it might take you about 45 minutes to do all of them for all the classes that you're taking. And then on top of that, you are going to do as many practice questions in the format that your exam is going to be in. Okay? So if your math class is going to be like, oh, it has like an equation at the top and you have to do the integral or whatever, then you're going to do exactly that. You're going to do however many questions are going to be on your test each day as your practice. That sounds like a lot, but if you're taking, 3 classes of math and you got to do 30 questions a day and that takes you 3 hours, well, that's already 3 hours out of your 9 to 5 of your day. That sounds boring, but if you really want to succeed, which is what you need to do, and if you want to separate yourself from everyone else once you get out of university, because university at the end of the day is just this big weaning project for the universities to make a lot of money on people, to hopefully give them a job that they like. And, if you're getting a job that you like, you're going to also run into people that have just scraped by and they are going to hold everyone back. And that just leads to an unproductive society, and an unproductive society is really boring to be a part of. Honestly, like a team that works really well together is the most fun thing that you can really do for yourself. So do your flashcards, do the practice questions that are required every day. And then on top of that, you're going to look at what the next lecture is going to look like. And so how do you do that? You just look at the syllabus. You say, oh, what are we covering here? If the slides are up, great. Give them a quick skim. If the textbook, it's like read this chapter, give it a quick skim just before. You don't have to memorize everything. You don't have to be the keener that knows all the answers to every other lecture question or to the next lecture question, but have some sort of idea. And then once you get into that class the next day, you just write the notes like you would any other time off the slides. Listen to what the prof is saying, ask questions when they come up. That's a really brave and courageous move that a lot of people don't do because they don't want to sound stupid, but sounding stupid is a lot smarter than pretending to be smart, okay? So do that. Go into the class, get that info. Right after, make those flashcards. And then every single morning for the entire semester and for your entire university career, do those flashcards. It doesn't have to be obviously the same ones if they're not in the same class, but whatever you need, and then do those practice questions. And that's it. That is literally the entire system. I will go over, the systems you can use to organize your time in terms of like, what Google app should you use? What things should you do to master your productivity and master your time? But if you literally just do flashcards every single day and do practice questions every day and review or skim what's going to happen on the next day's work, you're going to be ahead of 99% of people in the class. You're going to ace all your exams, and you're going to do it in the least amount of time possible. And I mean that as in like the smartest people I ever known that were really good at school were really good because they did it every day. Like they didn't take days off. They weren't like, oh, I'm just going to study for 3 days. I'm just going to cram for 3 days and then just like fuck off for 4 days. No, they just did a little bit every single day. And when they did that, they just were building this foundation. They were building this work ethic, this discipline that is required for you to do really well. It's not the most glamorous thing. It's not like highlighting everything and making everything color coded and pretty. They were literally just repeating the basics over and over again. And that's what you have to do. It's just repetition every single day. Flashcards, practice questions, skim what's going to be on the next one. And then if you don't do well, if you don't remember something, ask for help from a professor, from the TA, from whatever it might be. If you do just these things every single day, and you don't have to take, when I say 9 to 5, I'm saying like do these 3 things, but if you do them in 5 hours instead of the 8 hours, then you have all this extra time. You don't have to just do shit for doing shit's sake. Extra busy work isn't going to make it better. You doing what you need to do, the fundamentals, the flashcards, the questions, and the skimming of what's going to be on next, doing your assignments and doing your practice questions, that is what's going to get you that 4.0 GPA. It's going to build an incredible work ethic and is going to help you once you get outside of university and leave you time to do all the exciting, fun shit that university has to offer. So I hope you liked that video. I hope it helps you. Always remember to rep the set. I'll see you in the next one.